Okay, so picture this. You're the #1 women's tennis player on the planet. You've been grinding all season, smashing forehands, breaking rackets, giving those fiery press conferences that the internet absolutely eats up. And then, out of nowhere, Nike drops a brand new champion fit for a rising star. And suddenly your name is everywhere for reasons that have nothing to do with your backhand. That is exactly what just went down with Aryna Sabalenka, and folks, she did not hold back. Not even a little bit. If you've been following women's tennis lately, you already know that the sport is in this wild, almost reality TV era where the drama off the court is sometimes just as spicy as the five-set thrillers happening on it. And this whole situation with Nike, Alexandra Eala, and the Cincinnati tournament? Yeah, it hit like a bolt of lightning in the tennis community. People are picking sides, the comment sections are on fire, and Sabalenka herself basically said, "I'm not going to sit here and smile about this." So let's break down exactly what happened, because this story has layers, and once you get the full picture, you'll understand why the tennis world lost its collective mind over what is, on the surface, just an outfit. First, quick context for anyone who might not be deep in the tennis rabbit hole. Alexandra Eala is this incredibly talented young player out of the Philippines. She's been climbing the ranks, turning heads, and building a real fan base, especially among younger fans who see themselves in her. Nike signed her, which in the tennis world is basically like getting the golden ticket. We're talking about the same brand that has dressed Serena Williams, that has built entire marketing empires around individual athletes. When Nike puts their full weight behind you, it's not just a sponsorship deal. It's a statement. It says, this person is the future, and we're betting big. Now, the Cincinnati tournament. For my American viewers, this is one of those big summer hardcourt events leading into the US Open. It's got history, it's got prestige, and the crowds in Ohio show up ready to watch world-class tennis. The atmosphere is electric. Players use it as a final tune-up before New York, so the stakes feel real even though it's not a grand slam. And this year, Nike decided to do something special. They unveiled what they called a champion outfit for Eala, a custom-designed look, meant to celebrate her journey, her identity, and her status as a rising force in the game. And look, on paper, that's beautiful. You want to see brands celebrate their athletes, especially young players from countries that don't always get the spotlight in mainstream tennis coverage. The Philippines has a passionate sports culture, and seeing a Filipina athlete get that kind of recognition from a global powerhouse like Nike, that's huge. That's the kind of moment that inspires kids back home to pick up a racket and believe they belong on that stage. But here's where things got complicated. Because the way Nike rolled this out, the timing of it, the language they used around it, and the sheer volume of the marketing push, it rubbed some people the wrong way. And when I say some people, I mean Aryna Sabalenka went absolutely nuclear about it. Now, if you know Sabalenka, you know she is not the type to sugarcoat anything. This is a woman who has stared down match points in Grand Slam finals and treated them like just another Tuesday. She's blunt, she's emotional, she's hilarious in press conferences, and she does not care about playing nice for the cameras when something gets under her skin. So when she saw what Nike was doing with Eala's champion reveal in Cincinnati, she did not quietly scroll past it on her phone. She let the world know exactly how she felt. Sabalenka's reaction, and I'm paraphrasing the energy here, basically boiled down to this. She questioned the narrative. She questioned the word champion being attached to an outfit reveal for a player at that stage. She pushed back on the idea that a brand gets to anoint someone a champion before they've actually won the biggest titles in the sport. And she made it clear that she felt it was disrespectful to the players who have actually been out there grinding, winning, and earning that title through years of blood, sweat, and torn-up tennis shoes. And look, you can see where she's coming from. In professional tennis, the word champion carries serious weight. It's not just a marketing tag you slap on a hoodie. It's earned in 5-hour matches in the Australian heat. It's earned through injuries, through losing streaks, through the mental battles that nobody sees on camera. Sabalenka herself has been through that ringer. She's won Grand Slams. She's been #1. She's dealt with intense pressure, public scrutiny, and the kind of expectations that would break most people. So when she sees a brand essentially gift-wrapping the word champion and handing it to someone who hasn't yet captured that biggest prize, something in her just snapped. But here's the thing, and this is where the conversation gets really interesting. A lot of fans came back and said, hey, Maybe Nike wasn't calling her a champion in the literal sense. Maybe it's about celebrating her potential, her journey, her cultural impact. And that's a fair read. Nike has done these kinds of aspirational campaigns before. They did it with young basketball players, with emerging soccer stars, with athletes across every sport. The idea is to build a story, to create a moment, to make a young athlete feel seen. Still, Sabalenka wasn't having it. And honestly, part of what made her reaction so viral was the rawness of it. She wasn't giving a polished, PR-trained answer. She was genuinely fired up. She was talking with her hands. Her voice was rising. And you could tell this wasn't some manufactured controversy for attention. This was a competitor, a fierce competitor, looking at something and saying, "No, that's not right. And I'm going to say so." The tennis media picked it up immediately. Podcasts, YouTube channels, Twitter threads, all of it exploded. Some people sided with Sabalenka, saying she was protecting the integrity of what it means to be a champion in this sport. Others sided with Eala, saying she deserved the celebration, that Nike had every right to market their athlete however they wanted, and that Sabalenka was being gatekeepy and unnecessary. And then there was this third camp that said, can we maybe just appreciate a cool outfit without turning it into a whole thing? And Eala herself? She handled it with a lot of grace. She didn't fire back. She didn't throw shade. She posted about the outfit, thanked Nike, expressed gratitude for the support, and kept her focus on the tennis. Which, honestly, probably made her even more sympathetic in a lot of people's eyes. She let her game and her composure speak for her, and that's a very mature move for a young player in the spotlight. Now, from a broader perspective, this whole situation really highlights something fascinating about modern sports marketing. We live in an era where the story around the athlete is almost as important as the athlete's results. Brands are building narratives, creating characters, selling journeys. And sometimes that works beautifully. Think about how Nike built the Serena Williams story over 2 decades. Think about the Jordan brand and how it turned a basketball player into a cultural empire. But sometimes, when you move too fast, when you try to skip chapters in someone's story for the sake of a marketing moment, it backfires. It feels unearned. And the people in the locker room, the people who have actually lived that grind, they notice. They feel it. And when someone like Sabalenka speaks up about it, it resonates because she's saying what a lot of players are thinking but might not say because they've got their own sponsorship deals to protect. The Cincinnati crowd, by the way, was fascinating to watch through all of this. You had fans showing up in Eala's new Nike gear, cheering her on, completely unbothered by the controversy. You had other fans wearing Sabalenka shirts, chanting her name, basically treating the whole thing like a sporting rivalry that extended beyond the court. And the social media engagement around the tournament spiked in a way that, let's be honest, Nike probably didn't hate. Controversy sells. Conversations sell. And whether you loved what they did or thought it was tone deaf, everybody was talking about it. Everybody was watching. Sabalenka, for her part, channeled all that energy into her tennis. And that's the most Sabalenka thing imaginable. She doesn't let stuff fester. She gets mad, she says her piece, and then she goes out and hits the ball so hard it practically leaves a crater in the baseline. Her matches in Cincinnati had this extra edge to them, this intensity that told you she was processing everything through her racket. And that's what makes her such a compelling figure in this sport. She's not robotic. She's not scripted. She's a real person with real feelings, and she lets you see all of it. So where does this leave things? Well, Nike didn't issue some big retraction. They didn't pull the campaign. They let it ride, which is also very on-brand for them. Eala continued to compete, continued to grow, continued to build her game. And Sabalenka? She kept winning, kept talking, kept being exactly who she is. And the tennis world kept watching, because honestly, this sport has never been more entertaining, both between the lines and beyond them. What I think this whole moment really comes down to is a question about who gets to define success, who gets to hand out titles, and what we owe to the athletes who put in the years to earn those titles the hard way. Is it okay for a brand to look at a 20-something player with enormous potential and say, "You're a champion," before the trophies are on the shelf? Or does that cheapen what the word means for everyone who bled for it? There's no clean answer, and maybe that's why this hits so hard. It touched a nerve that goes way beyond tennis. It's about respect, about earned versus given, about the stories we tell and who gets to tell them. And hey, if nothing else, This whole saga proved one thing. In women's tennis right now, you cannot look away. Not for a second. Because the moment you do, somebody's going off about something, a new rivalry is brewing, a brand is making a bold move, and the entire internet is choosing sides by lunchtime. And I, for one, am here for all of it.